you ever been working on a song? And when you get to a certain place that you're thinking, oh, I wish I could find that chord. In this case, it's A, someplace else on this fingerboard so that it would sound a little fuller. Or maybe you want to use it to move back and forth a half a step or something where you can't do it here. So where could I find that? Well, there's a method you can use. It's called the caged system. Now, I know some people hear that and that they just shut down right away. But I tell you what, it really, if you really think about it, it's really not too bad at all. It really does make sense, okay? So let me see if I can explain it to you. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to try to break it down a little bit and make it as simple as possible. And I might miss a few of the fine facts. But I think on the whole, if I can just give you the overall impression of what it's all about, I'll be happy, okay? So the cage system is something that it's really not that old of a theory, okay? Because from what I understand, it was first documented in the 70s. There was a guy by the name of Kirk Allen. He was a professor of music at a music college that was in San Francisco. And so he came up with this idea, and he was actually written up in, I think it was called Guitar Players magazine. And that was in the 70s. And that was the first time we saw it documented. And I think it's a theory that people have embraced quite well because it does help you. It does make a lot of sense. And it's really not, once you see it, it's not that difficult to use, okay? But you got to understand what it's all about. So let's get started on this, and let me see if I can explain it to you. All right. So the caged, C-A-G-E-D, I'm going to put it right up there. Count how many letters that is. There's 5, right? Okay. Now, let me ask you this. How many letters are there in a scale, a major scale? How many, I say letters, how many chords or how many notes are there? Okay. Well, okay, you got it. 7, A through G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I'm going to put that up there. Now, you'll notice the cage system is only 5 chord or 5 letters. It's an acronym for chords. Okay, so C is chord C, A is chord A, okay, and so on. So what chord is missing? Actually, 2 chords. Okay, you're right. The F is missing and the B is missing. And there's a reason for that. So let me explain a little bit further. Let's just look at the caged chords first. When you look at a C chord, you'll notice, and some people play it like this, when you really inspect it, you'll notice some of the notes that I'm playing are open strings. They're called open chords because they have strings that you have no fingers on them. There's no fretting of those chords. They ring out because they have open strings. In this case here, let's see, the E is open. A and D is covered with a finger. G is open, okay? B is fretted. And then the E string is open. So it has some strings that you aren't fretting, okay? So don't fret, we're gonna get on this, okay? Same thing with A. Some of the strings are open strings. And what I mean by open string, it's a string that's ringing out that does not have any fretting. You don't have a finger on it at all. So A has open strings. G is a beautiful chord. It has many open strings, okay? Depending on how you play it, okay? E, open strings. And so D, once again, it's got open strings, okay? But look at B. When you look at B, B really, to be done right, should be barred. there's no open strings. Now we usually play it partial. We just play the bottom 4, but there's no open strings even in the bottom 4. Okay, and F. Usually, if you really want to do it, barring it, is a full F, and we usually play it partial. We play it, this way, right, or this way, or some people play it this way. Oops, right there. But none of the notes have open strings, even with the partial chords. Even with the partial chords of the B, even with the partial chord of the F. There's no open strings. So that's one difference right there. The other thing is that if you think about it, if you bar that F chord, for instance, what makes up that F, this shape right here, is actually an E shape. So it's kind of redundant to use it again. Same thing with the B. The shape that you're barring that's making up the B chord is an A shape, okay? So that's another thing. So they don't have the B and the F in the cage system because it's not necessary, and there's no open notes. They're not shapes, they're chords, okay? Where the C is a C shape, and the D is a D shape, and the A is a D shape, okay? G shape, E shape. It's totally different. And each of those shapes, if you move them up the fingerboard, say for instance a D, as you move them up the fingerboard, you're changing your chord. So in this case here, it's D. If I move it up 2 frets, it's E. And, remember our rule. Write this down. E to F, B to C. E to F is only a half a step in the scale, and B to C is only a half a step in the scale, okay? E to F, B to C. Write it down. Don't forget it. So when you go to D to E is 2 frets. E to F, half, 1 fret, okay? F to G, 2 frets. G to A, 2 frets. A to B, 2 frets. B to C. E to F, B to C. B to C, 1 fret. Okay? So don't forget that. So this shape, as it moves up, is going to change the chord. So this is how you're going to find the chords you're looking for. Okay? So let me just back up a little bit and give you an example. Okay, so let's look at the cage, C, A, G, E, D. We'll pick a chord. Let's pick the C chord, okay? Now I'm playing the C chord and I say to myself, where else can I find a C chord on this fingerboard? Well, in the cage system, just move up one of the letters, A, and what you're going to do is make this A shape. You're going to move it up the fingerboard, and you can call it out, just like we just did with the D, until you come to the C. Okay, so let's do it. A to B is 2 frets. B to C is 1 fret. Remember, B to C, E to F. Okay, there it is, 1 fret. And there's our C right there. So if I bar that, okay, and how far up does the bar go? It's 2. Why do I know that? Because back here when I made this A shape, this nut is acting like my finger or the bar, and it's back. You can see where it's back 2 frets. Okay, so when you move this up to where it's going to be fretted, you want that same space in between, just like it was this is the nut now. This is the new nut. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so let's go a little further. So we said, okay, so here's the next C based on the A of the caged. So now let's move up to the G. Where is the next C chord using the G shape? Here's the G shape. So we're going to move that up, and I'm going to use this string 6, and we're on the G. Okay, and here, move it up 2 frets. There's A, okay, and we're still looking for C, so A to B is 2 frets, and we're still looking for B, so now B to C is what? 1 fret. So there it is. There's my G shape right where I'm going to make my next C is right there. It's very hard, very, very hard to bar this, almost painfully hard. But yet, that is your next C right there. Okay? Now let's move on. So we found it in the G shape. So the next place that we're going to find the C chord is we're going to use an E shape. Well, C, A, we've done the G, we're going to do the E now. So we're going to move this E shape up until we get to a C. So we got E, okay, and then to go up to F, we go E to F. There's the F, it's only 1 fret. F to G, 2 frets, right? And G to A, 2 frets. A to B, 2 frets. B to C, got E to F, B to C. B to C, 1 fret. There it is right there. That's our next C. There is a C chord. You notice that where the bar is? It's just like up here. It's right behind it. So, excuse me. Okay, so there we have it. And so the last one, now that we have E, we've done C, we did A, we did the G, we did the E. Now we're going to do the D. Here's the D shape. Now remember, this has got to be barred here when we get through. Okay, it's going to be barred with 1 space in between, or 1 fret in between. So we got D to E is 2 frets. E to F, 1 fret. I think you got that down now. F to G, 2 frets. G to A, 2 frets. A to B, 2 frets. And then what's that? B to C, 1 fret. So there is our next C. And so I have to bar that. It's hard to do because this is a 12th fret. See that? It's 12th fret and I'm crammed up against here. But you would bar it right here. You would bar it right here. Okay? And so there you have it. That is how you use the cage system. Now, will you use a barred G or a barred D down here? Probably not. But you might use partial chords. You might make the chord shape like this, and pick up 1 note. There you go. And you just find different ways to do it and do partial shapes, but you know where to find it. Or if you're, in this case, wanting to use it as an arpeggio, you know where to find it. Okay? And it's called the cage system. And that is how you do it. Now, I don't know if that makes sense to you. I hope it does. I hope I cleared some things up, and I hope I didn't make it more confusing. And I'm going to leave it right there. And, I wanted to let you know I am going on another road trip coming up in a couple weeks. I'll have more details as we move forward, but if you have any stores between here and Springfield, Missouri, that you think, guitar stores, that you think I should visit, I want the mom and pops. I don't want the guitar centers and the big giant corporations. If you know of some really quaint places that I should go to along the way, please send me a text and let me know, because I will be videoing my visits to these stores and sharing those experiences with you. And hopefully giving some support to some of these small stores that they really have to work hard to be great service to their community. So it's getting tougher and tougher, I'm sure. But yet they do it, and we sure appreciate it when they're there. All right, so I'm going to leave it right there, and Don't forget to like and subscribe. I've got this right here. I don't even know why I bother saying it. And then also, I hope you have a great day or night wherever you are in this world.